Many years ago, in the beautiful city of Ojike, there lived a young man named Anayo. Anayo was a handsome man and was already in his late 30s, yet he was not yet married. Anayo was a very wealthy man. He had different types of businesses and had multiple streams of income. Yet, he refused to take a wife. He was simply focused on building an empire and making a whole lot of money. And this got his mother, Madam Mina, very worried. She could not fathom why her only son would not want to marry and settle down like his mates. It was not as if money was a problem or that he was poor and could not take care of his family. Madam Mina had spoken to Anayo times without number, saying, Aneonwam, Bikono, please settle down like your mates. Let a good woman take care of you and carry your children. You're not getting any younger. Don't you know that it is good for a man to get married early? Is it when you're old that you will finally settle down? Do you want your children to be calling you grandpa? Nnam, biko no, please don't bring shame on me. Look at Mama Ebuka, or is it Mama Ejike or Mama Chidi? All their sons are married with children of their own. But look at me, my only son, no, my only child has refused to get married. Rather, you'll be flying from one state to the other for one meeting or the other because Madam Mina said, looking very sad. Oh, Mama, stop now. Please, not again. Biko, no, stop it. I do not have the same goals or destinies as Ebuka or Ejike or Chidi or anyone at all for that matter. Mama, marriage is the last thing on my mind now. All I want to do right now is to build an empire. I don't want to marry a woman and she will suffer because I'm unable to take very good care of her. I also don't want to bring children into the world that I cannot provide for. Mama, for now, my focus is on having enough money so that I can retire well. Anayo replied, frowning. Abeg, let me hear word. You're talking as if you're talking to a stranger that does not know your net worth. You're worth almost $1 million and you're here talking to me about wanting to amass wealth. Which wealth? Anayo, you will kill me, oh. Ige Bukwam, you will kill me. Madam Mina responded, crying. Mama, please now. Please stop being so dramatic. Oh yeah, please, just stop crying first. Just stop. Okay, I promise you. I will get married before the end of next year. So Bikono, please wipe your tears. Anayo would reply as he cuddles his mother while trying to comfort her. Madam Mina did not believe a word that her son had said. So she took it upon herself to get a wife for him. So she introduced him to several beautiful young ladies. But Anayo would usually have one complaint or the other. For some of them, he would say, Mama, this one is too short though. If we get married now and her genes are stronger than mine, that means our children will be dwarfs. So, and I'm sure that you do not want your grandchildren to be dwarfs. And for others, he will say, Mama, this one is too fat though. Imagine how she will become when she gives birth. She will not become obese. She will start looking like my mother. Mbam. Anayo would say to his mom each time she introduced one of her friend's daughters to him. It was either the lady was too short, or was too fat, or was too tall, or was too busty, or was not curvy enough, or was not educated, or was not smart enough. It was from one complaint to the other. Madam Mina was very frustrated. She had introduced more than 40 beautiful, sophisticated, elegant ladies to her son. Yet, her son did not like any of them. Madam Mina became very frustrated and tired, so she stopped introducing any more ladies to her son. Instead, she began to pray. She would pray, begging God to please touch her son's heart so that he would see the need to settle down and have a family of his own. She even went further to sow seeds in church so that God would work faster and touch her son's heart. Meanwhile, Anayo was busy, focused on building multiple empires. But what Madam Mina did not know was that aside her efforts, a lot of other beautiful women who worked in his organization and in the same industry were throwing themselves at him for free. But he rebuffed all their attempts. Even when he went to the nightclub, he just sat and drank while his friends danced with women. And things continued like this for the next few years. One night, Madam Mina could not sleep. She was lost in deep thought. Her son Anayo was turning 40 years old that day, yet he was still not married. She knew that at this point she had to do something drastic. And then she came up with the perfect plan. She was sure that this one was going to work. So one day, Anayo was at his office talking and discussing with his best friend and business partner, Amechi, when he received a call from a doctor who told him that his mother was sick and had been admitted to the hospital and that he needed to come as soon as possible. Anayo abandoned everything he was doing and went to see his mother at the hospital. His mother laid on the bed, looking very frail and weak. Ah, Mama, what happened to you? Are you okay? Doctor, what is wrong with my mother? Anayo asked, looking frantic and almost in tears. I'm sorry, sir, but your mother has cancer and may not have a long time to live on earth, the doctor said, looking very sad. Eh? Cancer, K? God forbid. Doctor, please, oh, my mother cannot have cancer. Please do anything to save my mother. I do not care how much it costs. I promise you that money is not a problem. I will pay, please, doctor. Anayo replied, crying and begging the doctor. Over the next few weeks, Anayo abandoned his businesses, his empire, to stay by his mother's side. He cuddled and petted her, reliving old memories of his childhood with her. Nothing was more important than his mother. Anayo was very scared of losing his mother. Nothing mattered to him in this world than his mother. It was during his stay at the hospital with his mother that he promised his mother that he was going to get married unfailingly in 3 months' time, so that his wife could get pregnant and in 9 months he could have a baby, as the doctor had told him that his mother had barely 2 years left. Madam Mina was very happy. She knew that her son was going to keep to his word this time. Her plan had worked. So a few days later, Madam Mina was discharged and Anayo spent a few more days with her before returning to his home and business. Everything was the same way he had left it. His best friend and business partner Amechi had handled things excellently in his absence. Anayo was very worried, and so for the first time, he began to search for a wife. He wanted a good and responsible lady. So his first course of action was to go to a church. So Anayo started attending a Bible-believing church in his area, and that was where he met Nene. Nene was a very beautiful young lady and a very devout Christian. She even served as the head of the ushering department. She was also a fashion designer. Anayo had observed her for weeks. He noticed that she was respectful, calm, and very reserved. He also noticed that she did not have many friends and was also very involved in church activities. So Anayo decided that she was going to make a good wife and an excellent mother. So one day, after the close of service, Anayo was waiting patiently by his car. And then he sighted Nene and a young man who he recognized as the choir director, holding hands and walking. They were both leaving the church premises. When Anayo called out and said, Nene, Nene, may I please have a word with you? Anayo said, smiling. And immediately the choir director, who was standing with her, interjected and said, Sir, she is my girlfriend, and whatever you want to say to her, you can say it in my presence. Uche, the choir director, replied, already fuming in anger. Okay then, if you say so. Well, young lady, I like you. I mean, I really do like you. And I would want you to be my wife. You're very beautiful and deserve to be with someone that can take good care of you and not some low-budget Nathaniel Bassi. Anyway, here's my card and I hope to hear from you soon, Anayo said as he extended his complimentary card to Nene. Nene stretched forth her hand and collected the card while smiling sheepishly and avoiding the gaze of her boyfriend Uche. And Anayo entered his car and zoomed off, while Uche stood there screaming at Nene. Why did you collect his card? Oh, because he's rich and I'm poor, abi? Or because he's driving a beautiful car and I'm still using my Legady's Benz to be moving around the city, abi? I don't believe you. I don't blame you. Uche screamed at her and left her angrily. Nene could not even be bothered about Uche for 1 second. She could not believe that a man as wealthy as Anayo would want to marry her as Nene. Hey, she knew that Anayo was way older than her, but she did not mind though. Throughout that night, she could not sleep. She picked up her phone, contemplating whether or not she should call Anayo. She did not want to sound desperate. She really liked him, and she had noticed him from the very first time that he had come to their church. Just the scent of his perfume alone had left her mesmerized. She always wondered why he came to church alone, and just concluded that maybe his wife and kids were abroad. She didn't even know that he was still single. Nene felt so lucky that out of all the beautiful ladies in church, that Anayo had chosen her. So she decided that she was going to play safe. She was not going to call him that night so she doesn't sound desperate. So she went ahead and lay down and slept. She was excited and nervous at the same time. And then she said, "Hello, Anayo, it's Nene." Nene said, smiling and fidgeting at the same time. "Oh, Nene, it's you. I'm glad you called and I'm happy that you did not allow that boy who will not be ready for marriage and who does not know what it means to be a man waste your time." Anayo replied haughtily. And they went ahead and had a very long conversation. And at the end of their conversation, Anayo had asked for Nene's account details. And a few minutes later, after the call had ended, Nene got a whopping 2 million naira alert. Nene could not believe her eyes. 2 million naira ke? Nene screamed in excitement. Ah, God, thank you. Thank you for sending me a man after your own heart to be my husband, a man that will provide for me and take very good care of me. Ah, God, thank you. Nene screamed in gratitude to God. See me suffering with Uche, using my own money to cook stew for that idiot. And the highest amount he has ever given me in his miserable life is 10,000 naira. God forbid bad thing. Now see Anayo, a man and more, that I've only spoken to once has wired me 2 million naira. Hey, Anayo is my husband, Biko. I am marrying him by faith. I am breaking up with that Uche now. Have I not suffered enough? Me too. I deserve to wear expensive clothes. And I want to be madam with people serving me hands and foot as Wunye Odogo, as Oga's wife. Nene said, thinking out loud. And she immediately sent a message to Uche, saying that she was no longer in love with him and that she was breaking up with him as well. She also went ahead and blocked his line and blocked him on all social media platforms. So Nene and Anayo had started meeting up. They hung out at different high-end restaurants that Nene had never been to before. On their very first date, Anayo had come with his business partner and best friend, Amechi. And although Nene felt that it was strange for him to have come with a friend on their very first date, she dismissed it because she just gave excuses for him in her mind. That maybe he had come to their date from a business meeting, so his friend had just tagged along. Besides, she also liked Amechi, and they had a very good conversation, and they all laughed and had fun. By this time, the news had gone round church that Nene had broken up with Uche and had left him for a very wealthy man. Everyone was talking about it, but Nene did not care at all. Uche had also come to beg her severally, but her mind was made up. She was not going to leave a rich man like Anayo for a pauper like Uche. So Nene continued to date Anayo. Anayo bought her gifts and took her to expensive places. But she noticed that they were never alone. Amechi always followed them. Whether they went to the cinema, Amechi was there. Or whether they went for a boat ride, Amechi also tagged along. Even when they were taking an ordinary walk together, Amechi also followed them. Nene was becoming very uncomfortable, but did not want to say anything about it to Anayo, for fear that he might get upset and say that she's trying to control him and then might be tempted to break up with her. She was not going to allow anything come in between her and her dream of becoming a rich man's wife. Moreover, when I finally get married to Anayo, Amechi will not be living with us now. Nene thought to herself. So 2 weeks after they had met, Anayo officially proposed to Nene. Nene was so happy and accepted his proposal on the spot. So Nene took Anayo to go see her pastor and introduce him formally. They conversed and had a great time at the pastor's office. But later that day, Nene's pastor called her over the phone and said, Nene, that man you brought to see me today is not your husband though. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Have you prayed and asked the Lord about him? Her pastor asked, looking very worried. Sir, no, you don't know him. Oh. I am sure it is the lies that Uche has spread about him in church that is making you say what you're saying. I promise you that if you get to know him, Pastor, you will see that Anayo is a very good man. In short, he's a true son of God. Besides, I have asked God in prayers and he told me to go ahead, that he's the one for me. Nene replied her pastor sulking. Really? Nene, God told you to go ahead. Okay, please tell me, what did God say to you in clear terms? Pastor Yemi asked, looking worried. Well, sir, I have peace. And the exact word that God gave me when I prayed was that he said that even though I walk through the shadow of death, that he will be with me. So I am convinced that, he's the one for me. Nene replied her pastor. Nene, hi, these children will not kill me. So if God says that he will be with you when you walk through the fire, does that mean that you should walk through the fire with your eyes wide open? Nene, has all my teachings been in vain? Is it entering one ear and coming out from the other ear? Anyway, Nene, I have told you what the Lord is saying. It is now left for you to take it or leave it. Pastor Yemi said, and then he ended the call. I know it's that stupid Uche that has gone to tell pastor false things about my darling Anayo because I dumped his sorry ass. Anyway, nobody can stop me from marrying him. Nobody can stop me from marrying the love of my life. Not Uche or even the church or even my pastor. Nene said out loud while fuming in anger. So Nene refused to heed to her pastor's counsel. And because she was now engaged to Anayo, she started visiting him in his home. Yet Amechi was still around, always looming around them. He will step out for just a few minutes and then come back quickly without giving them any breathing space or personal space to bond. Nene asked Anayo if Amechi lived with him and was shocked to hear that indeed Amechi lived with him. But she was too shy to ask him if he would continue to live with them after they got married. She decided not to raise any dust at all, so she doesn't jeopardize her chances of becoming his wife. But Nene noticed that Anayo never tried to touch her affectionately or even hold her hands lovingly, as couples would do. She realized that they had been dating for nearly 5 weeks now, and he had never even tried to kiss her, not even once. Initially, she felt that he was being a gentleman, or that he was shy, or that it was because Amechi was always with them. She was surprised because even her boyfriend, who was a believer, a strong Christian, and a tongue-speaking one at that, had once in a while been overcome by his emotions and had tried to kiss her. And they had to remind themselves that they had promised to wait till they got married. But here was Anayo, who was not even a serious Christian in the first place. Yet, he was not even attempting to hold or touch her, not to talk of even kissing her. So Nene came up with a plan. She figured that if Mohammed will not go to the mountain, then it was time for the mountain to go to Mohammed. So one day, Nene dressed very beautifully and went to see Anayo in his home on a weekend. And as usual, Amechi was also in the house, but she was surprised to see Anayo and his best friend both in their boxers and watching Netflix. Hi babe, hi Amechi, you guys seem to be having fun oh. If I didn't know better, I would say that you were both doing Netflix and chill, but of course that is not possible, Nene said as she smiled and made herself comfortable. She noticed that Amechi was cold towards her, as if she had interrupted something, and that he simply got up and left. 5 minutes later, he was still not back. That was the longest that Amechi had stayed away from them when she was with Anayo. So Nene seized the opportunity and went and sat beside her man and tried to kiss him, but to her greatest surprise, Anayo pushed her away like a leper and said, what is wrong with you? I thought you are a Christian. You of all people should know that premarital sex is bad. I came to church to find a decent, God-fearing lady to marry and see what I get in return. A prostitute? Ha! Oh, I see. So this is what you are doing with that stupid boyfriend of yours, Uche. Oh no, I'm so disappointed. I am not even sure I want to even marry a loose woman like yourself. Anayo screamed angrily. And by this time, Amici had run out to the parlor. He went close to his friend and patted him at the back lovingly, saying, it's okay. Please don't get worked up over nothing. I don't know why girls of nowadays have no virtue. They have no home training. They are so loose. Amechi said, eyeing Nene wickedly. Please forgive me. I'm a very good girl, oh. As a matter of fact, I'm still a virgin. I was just wondering why you never touch me or, try to kiss me or something like that. That's all. Nene said, crying. I cannot believe that a child of God like you will be having such dirty thoughts. You should go and fast and pray and go for deliverance. And when you're done, you can come back, let's talk. But for now, please, just leave my house. Anayo replied. And so, Nene left in shame and in tears. And as she walked on the road, she blamed herself. She wished she had never pulled that stunt on Anayo. She wept and hoped that she had not jeopardized her chance of getting married to a good catch like Anayo. So for the next 7 days, Nene fasted and prayed, just like Anayo had instructed her. And she still went ahead to go for a deliverance session on the last day of her 7 days fast. After the fast had ended, she told Anayo all the spiritual exercises that she had carried out based on his instructions. And then he replied and said, now that you are cleansed, it's time for you to follow me to go see my mom and for us to fix a date for our wedding. I want us to be married as quickly as possible so that we can start having children as quickly as possible. Anayo replied, smiling. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will never disappoint you again. Nene responded happily. So they went ahead and visited Anayo's mother, Madam Mina. Madam Mina was so happy. She danced and celebrated that Anayo had finally brought a woman back home. She looked at Nene and instantly fell in love with her. She welcomed her warmly to her home and promised to take very good care of her. Nene was so happy. She was more than convinced that she had made the right decision. So a few weeks later, the D-Day was finally here. It was their wedding day. Nene had a fairy tale wedding like she had always dreamt of. Nene looked and felt like a princess. Anayo had spared no expense whatsoever just to make her happy. Nene was so happy. However, she was worried that Anayo would rather share some inside jokes and laugh heartily with Amechi, who also happened to be his best man on their wedding day, rather than share those jokes with her. For crying out loud, it was their wedding. But yet again, she decided not to make a mountain out of a molehill. After all, she was now officially Mrs. Nene Anayo. Nene was excited. So later that night, Nene and Anayo had retired to their hotel room. Nene had changed into a very beautiful lingerie and was hopeful that they would finally be able to consummate their marriage. At least now, it was not a sin, and also Amechi was not looming around. But instead of Anayo to perform his marital obligations towards Nene, he simply complained that he was tired and needed to rest. And so they ended up not doing anything and slept that night. Nene was frustrated. At this point, she knew that something was wrong. For crying out loud, which man in his right senses would refuse her, especially in a very sexy lingerie? And for the next few days that they spent at the hotel, Anayo did not even try touching Nene at all. He always came up with one excuse or the other. Yet, Nene still gave him the benefit of doubt, saying that it could be the stress from the wedding that made him not interested in her. So a few days later, they had gone back to their home and had settled down in their home. Nene was so happy. She felt like she had finally achieved something in her life. She was now Mrs. Nene Anayo, the wife to a wealthy man. She sat on her beautiful couch and crossed her legs and was sipping on red wine and then thought aloud saying, so I am now a madam just like that. God, thank you. Now you run this one for me, oh. Nene said, smiling happily. And although Amechi still lived with them, Nene did not mind so much at first because Anayo was spoiling her silly. He bought her gifts and even bought a car for her and gave her so much money. But 1 month had passed and they still hadn't consummated their marriage. Now Nene was frustrated. And as if that was not enough, Anayo had told her that they would no more be sleeping in the same room as he needed his privacy and preferred to work at night. Nene revolted, but when she saw that her husband Anayo was very serious about it, she had no choice than to move to the guest room. So every night, while she slept alone on a big bed, her husband stayed alone in the other room. They were both living like strangers. She, however, noticed that Anayo and his best friend, Amechi, would spend the whole night in his room giggling and laughing. This happened for 3 weeks and Nene could not take it any longer. So one day she confronted her husband and said, why do I have to sleep in a different room all by myself? And you spend all night in the same room with your best friend Amechi, and you claim to be working, yet all I hear is laughter and giggles. And it's been already 2 months since we got married, and you have kissed me only once, and that was at the altar on our wedding day. And you have not even fulfilled your marital obligations towards me. Can you please tell me what in the world is going on? Do you do men? Nene screamed in frustration. No, I don't do men. I said I work all day and night, trying to provide for you and give you the life that you live. See the hair that is on your head alone is 2 million naira. See the type of phone that you are using, the latest iPhone. You drive a Range Rover. If I don't work so hard, please tell me, how will I provide all these things for you? Anayo screamed angrily. Well, I want more. I want my husband. Is that too much to ask? In short, I am done with this marriage. I am leaving you. You can go ahead and marry that your friend, Amechi, or whatever he's called. Nene retorted angrily. Nene, please wait. Please stop. Okay, I'm sorry. It will really break my mother's heart if you leave me. Please stop. How do I prove to you that I am not into men? Anayo asked, looking confused. It's simple. Perform your marital obligations towards me. Do your job, and just maybe your mom would have a grandchild to hold in about 9 months' time. Nene replied angrily. And so, Anayo followed his wife into her room and performed his marital obligations to her. And as soon as he was done, he immediately ran to the toilet to vomit. He was disgusted. And when he came out of the next room, he could see Amechi standing and fuming in anger and screaming, saying, how could you do this to us? How could you? Amechi said, crying, and Anayo quickly hushed him and took him to his room. Nene had heard Amechi crying and screaming like a baby, saying, how could you do this to us? But before she could dress up and come out, her husband and Amechi had both gone into her husband's room and had locked the door. She could hear Amechi crying and her husband comforting him and saying, "I promise I will never do it again." And then it was at this point that Nene knew that she had entered one chance. The signs were all there, but she chose to ignore them. Her husband was into men and not women. Nene quickly ran back to her room, weeping and crying. How could I not have known? The signs were all there. How could I not have known that my husband is into men? How could I have made such a mistake? Nene said, weeping and crying. She decided that she needed to get evidence. So the following day, when they had gone to work, and just before they came back, she mounted a secret camera in her husband's room, and it confirmed her worst fears. Her husband was into men. She was shocked to see that they even did role play. Her husband would wear a nightgown with red lipstick and be dancing and twerking for Amechi. Apparently, her husband was the woman in the relationship, while Amechi was the man. Nene wept and wept like a baby. She wished she had listened to her pastor's advice and counsel. She wished that she had not allowed his money overcloud her judgment. She wished that she had not ignored all the signs that were visible and glaring. So she kept a secret camera for over 1 week. And what she saw with her two eyes broke her heart even more. She decided that she was leaving the marriage for good, as she realized that she was the third party that was coming in between Anayo and his lover, Amechi. So one day, she could not take it any longer. So she confronted her husband and said, "How could you do this to me? You knew that you do not love women or want to have anything to do with them. So why did you marry me?" Nene asked, crying. "Oh, please come off it. You knew already. All the signs were there, but you chose to ignore it. You were only after my money, so why are you complaining now? Maybe you have finally found what you're looking for. Now you can rest. I've been trying to hide it, but you will keep poking your nose into what does not concern you. Now that you have found out, so rest, let me hear what." Anayo replied angrily and walked away. So Anayo and his lover, Amechi, no longer hid their affection for one another. They would even spoon feed themselves and would laugh and play together, while Nene would stare at them in disbelief. They no longer tried to hide their love from her, since she already knew, so there was no point. Nene was heartbroken. She would cry and cry all day. She wondered how she ended up here. Then one day, she decided that she had had enough and that she was leaving him for good. After all, he did not even care how his actions had affected her or hurt her. But a few days later, after she had made that decision, she suddenly started feeling sick and then ran a pregnancy test at home, only to find out that she was pregnant. She did not know what to do. She knew that she did not have the resources to take care of the child. Besides, if she leaves now that she's pregnant, then what would she tell people was her reason for leaving Anayo? She was in a dilemma and decided that she was going to speak to her husband first and see his reaction, as that would ultimately guide what her decision would be. So she walked up to Anayo and said, "Anayo, I am pregnant, but I'm getting rid of this baby because I cannot continue to live like this. I can't do it." Nene said, crying. Anayo was very shocked and for the first time in a long time looked at her very kindly and said, "Please, Nene, I know that I deceived you into marrying me, but please do not abort this child. I promise you that I will be good to you. Yes, I cannot promise you that I will love you, but I will take very good care of our child. My mother is very sick, and the only thing that she wants right now is a grandchild. Please do not abort this child. We can reach an agreement, an amicable agreement, please." Anayo said, pleading. "But Anayo, if you wanted a child, you could have just paid someone to carry your baby, rather than punish me like this, rather than marry me, knowing who you are. Anayo, why did you do this to me?" Nene asked, crying. And Anayo continued to beg her and apologized to her, and Nene agreed to carry the child for him. So they reached an agreement that he was going to be paying her the sum of 10 million naira every month for her to keep her mouth shut. And aside that, he was also going to be providing for the home and that they would also remain married. They also agreed that in public they would act as husband and wife, all lovey-dovey, but that in private he would continue his relationship with Amechi while she was allowed to date any man that she wanted to, but discreetly in public. Nene agreed because the offer was quite juicy, but she was also worried because she knew that as a Christian, it was a sin to commit adultery. And also, she had always looked forward to experiencing real love and affection from her husband, but she realized that it was never going to happen. Few days later, Anayo invited his mother over to his house, and then he broke the news of their pregnancy to her. Then Madam Mina replied excitedly and said, now I can stop faking that I am sick. I can now live my life. And you, Anayo, I thought you said you are into men. I know that you lacked the right woman to bring back your senses. Nonsense. Mama Mina stated emphatically. Anayo and Nene looked at Madam Mina shocked. Mama, you knew your son was into men, and yet you pushed him to marry a wife? Is there no wickedness at its peak? Mama, do I deserve this kind of life? Nene asked, shocked and crying. Wait, Mama, you are not sick. Also, Mama, are you trying to tell me that you knew my identity all along? Anayo asked, looking shocked. Of course, nah. I had to pretend to be sick so that you will give me a grandchild. And it worked. And as for you being into men, of course I knew all along. And for you, Nene, the signs were there that even a blind man could have seen them. So please, do not blame me for your misfortune. It is your greed that made you marry my son. You cannot tell me that you did not know that he was into men. Madam Mina responded sarcastically. Nene continued to weep. She wished she could turn back the hands of time, but she felt that she had come too far to just go back. So Nene carried her pregnancy and stayed in the sham she called a marriage, all because of Anayo's money. So outside, they behaved like a lovey-dovey couple. And when they were back at home, Anayo left her alone for his true love, Amechi. Nene went further and still had a total of 5 children for Anayo, but she refused to keep a man friend, saying that it was against her faith as a Christian. So Anayo was happy and continued to live his life with Amechi, while Nene was always sad and lonely. Her life was void of love and affection. She was simply a baby-making machine for Anayo. She was always sad and wished she could turn back the hands of time, but it was already too late. Hi besties, it's your girl Omalicha again. Thank you so much for watching my story to the end. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you think that Nene really knew that her husband was into men before they got married? And do you think that she deserved that kind of life? And for women that are stuck in marriages where their husbands are into men, what do you think is the way out for them, especially for those that already have children? Should they turn a blind eye to the fact that their husbands are into men? Or should they leave their marriage? Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section. And please support your homegirl Omalicha by subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, and sharing with your loved ones. So now, till I come your way again with more interesting stories, bye!